whoa, this show got dark.
Oh, yes.
I am joined with Kristy Leigh Lussier, who is a producer and story consultant at WeFixYourScript.com. Thanks for being with us.
Oh, always happy to be here.
All right, so we are going to break down episode 2 of the Wheel of Time, labeled "Shadows Waiting." Do you want the log line here?
Let's do it.
All right. Moiraine and Lan lead the 4 villagers to safety, unsure which is the one from the prophecy, but the friends are equally unsure about their rescuers, especially once they see how far Moiraine is willing to go for her mission and how far astray Lan is willing to lead them.
Gotcha. Okay.
All right. First thoughts.
First thoughts on the episode?
Yeah.
I definitely like this episode for me a lot better than the first one on it.
Yeah.
Just there's a little more exciting things that kind of come from the book worlds that they put on screen that are really exciting to see in the second one. And I just feel like there's a little bit more that we get to understand the characters and get a sense of their more of their personality kind of comes through, their character arc comes through in episode 2.
Yeah, I mean, well, you're familiar with the books and you're part of the community. I am not. I'm just I'm a screenwriter, story guy, and I will tell you, I was like, whoa, this show got dark.
Yes.
I was like, that was a tonal shift I wasn't ready for. The first episode was lighter. It's fantasy. There's a hint that this might be a little bit of a darker show, but in general, it's pretty light because we're getting to know the characters. And then towards the end, you have the monsters attack the village. You go, okay, it's pretty crazy. This first scene, I was like,
yep.
Wow, okay,
yep.
Is the show finding its legs now? Because I think it might be. I don't know. I'm only doing 1 episode at a time. I know there's like 30 episodes out right now.
There's only 4 right now.
But I know, and now I'm curious to see, is the next episode going to be dark or is it totally going to shift again? I'm hoping it's going to be dark because it's really interesting. I mean, starting with the White Cloaks, I think is what they're called. Forgive my Wheel of Time ignorance. And you
got it right. It's okay.
Yeah. All right, cool. So he's eating this delicacy and they paint this group as good guys. I mean, they're wearing white. There's a symbol of a sun behind them. They're religious, and he bites into this essentially like a bird that's a cooked bird with bones and everything, cuts his mouth, and he begins bleeding. And what a beautiful shot of the drip of blood dripping down his cheek, covered in white with the sun behind him. You go, whoa. And then he looks deadpan into the camera and is talking in not so subtle death threats essentially to the camera. And I'm like, this is crazy. And then we see that he has captured one of the Aes Sedai female magicians, essentially wizards or magic users.
So they're called channelers, basically.
Channelers. Yeah. They're in touch with the Force, and and he's burning her at the stake. She's actively burning while he's eating a dinner. I was like, wow, what a way to paint a villain. I thought it was so well done, and I was like, okay, this is a show that has a significant voice. This is so different than episode 1, which felt like it was trying to find its footing a bit.
Yeah. And it really just goes to show that there is really interesting dynamic in the world. So again, now we're getting to see things outside their little town. And while we feel like, okay, there's this powerful woman, she's come in, she's going to take these kids to safety. Yeah. But lo and behold, there are people who feel like what she does as a Chandler is actually draws the dark one, is evil. And so they basically essentially hunt down these Aes Sedai, as they call them witches, essentially. So they feel like they are evil versus the Aes Sedai, who it stands for servants of all. For them, it's finding light in the world. And these children of the light, these White Cloaks, don't believe that that's their actual cause.
it's complicated, but it totally makes sense. I mean, they feel righteous and they're going after these channelers, so it all makes sense. I mean, you can see where it's historically been captured, and so influenced in this story. So it's fascinating to me visually how they depicted these guys. I mean, it's not traditionally how you would think of a villain. But down to, I can't remember what the guys, the Inquirer or
Inquisitor.
The Inquisitor. So the Inquisitor has this chain of rings that he's stolen from these channelers. I thought, what a great visual. That says everything you need to know about that character right there, is that he cherishes these rings. He's proud of these rings. So, and he walks around with this arrogance. So great character, so much different from Rosamund Pike, but at the same time, you can see that they're two sides of the same coin, which I thought it's really good writing.
Yeah, it's all the belief in their own cause. So to what length are they willing to go to fight for their cause?
Right.
And so it's really interesting because it's one of my favorites. It's one of the best things I think that they've taken from the books and put on screen, and even just made it worse, because they're not introduced in the books as bad as that scene is. So when we saw that scene, I was like, man, they're really just getting in it, which was great. It was awesome.
Well, I mean, I guess they're telling you who they want you to root for, because there's a way they could have done. There's a way they could have done that where it was less ominous, and you think, oh, these guys have a valid argument, but then you see a lady being burned at the stake, and you're going, okay, I think I know what's going on here.
Clearly.
So,
these Aes Sedai have their own stumbling blocks. They have their own roadblocks and their own, things that they're trying to protect themselves from. Really.
No, I think it's good. And this really kind of dove into the channelers even more, and the different rules they have and how they have to tell the truth, but they're selective with how they tell the truth, which is great, because then it's about context.
Yes.
Which is, as a writer, I would think, oh God, that'd be so fun to write, but at the same time be so challenging, because you have to think, okay, this has to be true. This is going to be canon. And then 30 episodes from now, I can't have this used against me.
It's so great. And there's so many like instances where it happens in the books too, and it's just fantastic, because I mean, I love how they did it in the scene where she says like, oh, I have a sister, and I was attacked, and it was back in the wherever. Like, she's referencing the area but not the exact town, and she's saying she has a sister. They all call each other sisters, so technically she has a sister. Like, it's awesome. It's really cool. It's a play on words, and it's fantastic.
I loved it, and I really enjoyed how they are creating a division and distrust in the kids between them and Moiraine, because it keeps that conflict going, which keeps the episode interesting, because it's very easy to get lost and bored in an episode where you're just traveling, and so to have that mistrust there, and then especially where the two characters, I want to say Rand and the lead female, Egwene, apologize again, guys, I'm new to this show, so I appreciate your patience.
It's awesome.
I'm getting into it. So there's love lost there, because he's kind of jealous that she's turning her back on him, and he really cares about her deeply. So they play around with that. So they're building that. Then they're throwing in extra mysteries to keep you around, where Perrin has this infected bite, but then a wolf walks up to him and is like into it. He's like, hey, how you doing, man? So now you start wondering what's going on. Those are the types of mysteries that you build in to a script. If you're writing, if you're working on a pilot, or if you're working on a show, you add these so that you can create that intrigue that makes those questions happen in the viewer or the reader's thoughts, so that they want to come back and find, now I want to know, is the guy going to turn into a werewolf, or is he going to get infected, his leg falling off, so that gets you into the show. So it's great to see that. Again, they worked it in with Matt, because he's a thief. He likes things that are glitzy, right? It's shiny, and he just lost his knife. He gave it to his buddy. So that's it's a huge plot point in the first book anyway, because it does set off a chain of events that leads them down the path of where they go. Because him touching something that he was specifically told, don't touch anything, like everything is tainted in this city.
And then he takes the dagger. So
I mean, I see that, and it just calls to me like, well, that's original sin. You know, like you were told what not to do, but you had to do it because you're curious.
But he had to do it anyway.
Yeah.
Right?
So I mean, that hits me, and I think, oh, it's fascinating. It's cool to see things like that. Before we got to that point, though, there was a scene that I thought was really interesting, and I don't know how many other people caught it, but Rand
more
says,
people than you think, probably.
I'm sure. Like, what do I know? Right. So Rand says, are you going to let us go if we choose to go? And Moiraine says, I don't have any time. I have lost my patience with you. And then she rides away. And then the kids, well, you know, if we don't go with her, we're not going to be in the script anymore. So they all go with her. But then we see
they don't go with her, they're not going to be.
Yeah, they're not going to be in the show anymore. So they all go together. So
the story has to happen, right?
We gotta go.
Has to happen.
Yeah. As my son likes to say during any film where the central character is in trouble, he's gonna be fine, Dad. He's got plot armor.
Yes, he's got plot armor. That's exactly.
I love it. My kid's hilarious. So, so as the kids ride by, we see Lan, Man, Dragorin, right, hiding behind the stone, and I go, oh, that's great. So essentially, yeah, if the kids decided not to come, he would have taken care of business. So I thought that was, I thought that's awesome, because then it shows like, yeah, Moiraine is a little ethically dubious, and I did enjoy that.
Yeah, there's always a question of her actual intent, and that is a theme carried a lot through her character journey. What really is her intention? I mean, does she really want an end goal that is positive for these people, or is it strictly kind of self-driven? And that scene and that little element plants those seeds of, she does this a lot. It's a strong character trait for her.
And the great thing about this scene, though, is, you know, when it comes to creating intrigue and mystery, or even suspense, there's the knowledge that the audience has, and there's the knowledge that the characters have. And, and typically, you know what the character knows, and that keeps you on edge. But scenes like this, where we see him waiting and the kids don't, that's knowledge we have that the characters don't have. So now that's instilling doubt into the audience. Now we're going, what the hell's going on with this guy? You know?
Why? What's
so I like that. I think that's cool. It's just another way to layer that in.
Yeah. Building layer. I I think that's great.
Yeah, building layers. Yeah. Now the other thing, the one thing where the episode got slow during this, they do this song, they sing this song from and I think it's from their village, and it's a cute song, and then it gets sad, and so, you know, it's got a nice kind of harmony to it, and then she explains the song. Now, I like this show. That is a lot of exposition. It is a lot of plotting. I think Rosamund Pike is amazing, and the fact that she is so talented, she could sell that. But that is a part, if you don't have the right talent for that type of block of dialogue, that won't work. It cannot work. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. It's meant to be. So it's very interesting. If you look it up, that was a scene that the showrunner really fought to keep in the episode and put into the series. There was a lot of people that didn't want to, but it's very, very iconic for the book and the fandom.
I understand.
It gives this, if you listen to the story again, it really builds this foreshadow. It talks about past, but it builds a foreshadowing to future. Okay. And so the story she's telling about these villagers who lived where they live now. Yeah. Really, essentially, she's saying that you have that blood and that strength in you because you're about to take the same kind of journey that they did, because the wheel always spins. And so you're always going to be, you're going to carry that bloodline through and through. But there's a huge foreshadowing in the story that she tells. And the showrunner really wanted to make sure that we keep that in. It's very iconic. She's very charismatic when she says it. And Rosamund Pike did a great job. It's really cool.
She's talented, she did great. And she sold it.
For sure.
Since there is payoff and foreshadowing, this is that important, then I really want to see this payoff, because if it is just a fun, harmonious song, and then we learn a little bit of lore and it doesn't go anywhere, as a viewer, I'll be disappointed, right? Because
be like, what was the point?
Why was it there, right? So now I'm interested to see where it pays off. They get to this.
You get to Shadar Logoth.
See, I got my pro with me. So we
can
go
help you with
there.
the words.
Yeah, man. So we go there. It's a dead town. It's so dark that the Trollocs won't go there. I mean, that tells you everything is deserted. I love the fact that as they're going through it, there's no ambient noise. I was like, what a great way to make something creepy. Because people expect to hear these things. So when you're in a silent scene, you're like, what the hell is going on? So I like that. Keeps you on edge.
It builds uncomfortability.
Yeah, exactly.
Audience,
builds that tension up. And then we have Matt finds his shiny toy and he's gotta have it.
And then he takes it, and then
I get it because I'm Matt on the inside. I'm like, oh, look, shiny. Look at that. I won't touch anything. Wink, wink.
Wink,
so
wink.
So I get it. But I gotta tell you, I was so upset when that horse died. Like that I was like, you don't kill the horse, man. Like
the important horses survive, which is interesting.
Don't make the horse the red shirt. Like bring in some other character, give him a couple lines, and then I would
kill him off.
and then take him out. Don't take the horse out, man. I was upset about that. If my wife sees this, I'm gonna have to shut the show off.
She's gonna be mad.
Can't be taking out horses. So that's when you know it's evil.
Just swallows you basically. Yeah,
it's crazy. So everybody gets out and they all get separated, and I was like, thank God, because I've been waiting for that moment. I want to see subplots break up, and I want to see characters go on different journeys.
Sure.
So I'm hoping in episode 3 they don't all come together. I'm hoping in episode 3 they're all split up. Don't spoil it. And because give me a week and I'll know. And then we see where they all go, and that would be great. And a good twist at the end, because somebody who we thought was dead comes back, and that's a great cliffhanger you can have.
Yep, it's fantastic. And again, she's a very iconic character in the series, one of the fan favorites all around. And so to see her come back and have her moment, the exciting thing for me was, okay, I want to find out where she was, like where.
Oh yeah.
Let's see now what happened and how did she get that far and catch up with them. That's what I want to.
That's a really good question. I'm assuming she probably took an Uber, or maybe Lyft.
I can tell you what she didn't do was take the dead horse.
Okay,
the horse was useless, right?
You're gonna pull that out. You're gonna make me cry on air. All right, so I thought this was good. I found this pulled me in more than episode 1, but like I said before, it takes, they did the science. It takes 3 episodes for you to get hooked on a show. So I'm really curious to see what happens in the next episode. If I watch this and like, okay, I'm in, and then you'll know I'm in, because I'll start remembering names of things.
Yeah, because it'll stick with you. You get an attachment.
Yeah, exactly. Sure. If we get there and we're not there, then we'll talk about it. But
sure.
All right. Do you have any thoughts?
No, I'm excited for episode 3. I liked episode 2. It was cool to see a really iconic thing on screen. Shadar Logoth was like a big thing that all of us fans were like, we can't wait to see what they do with this. And it was great. Awesome.
So are fans coming around to the show at this point in episode 2, or are people still on the fence? Because I know episode 1 was divisive and it made people kind of split the camp.
I feel like as the episodes went on, there was a lot more of a buy-in. But episode 4 was the big hook for a lot of readers that were like, okay, we've heard some of this stuff happens in this particular episode. We want to get there. So I think it takes a big shift in episode 4.
Right. Well, I got to tell you, visually, the show looked great this episode. Usually when you bring on new directors, they have like a what they call like the tone meeting, and they go through and so I'm not sure if what happened, but this episode is so different from episode 1, but I think it's just finding its legs. I think that's what's going on. So but I enjoyed, the way they set the shots up. I was like, wow, it's so powerful. And they did the keeping in tone in the tone in episode 1, the pilot, they did these high drone shots that then came low into the character, and they did that again, right? They did that again with the white cloaks. They go, okay, so I see, like, this is the type of visual story they want you to start wide world, and then we're gonna
come down,
come right into the character. So I think
we noticed that too. The drone shot, we noticed that for sure.
So Okay, so this episode is brought to you by the Script Summit Screenplay Contest, where you can get a chance to win $1,000 or even get repped by a Hollywood talent manager, which last year we've had 2 people get repped and their stuff is getting sent out to studios and producers, which is really exciting.
So cool.
Yeah, and Kristy's a part of it as well. It's a great opportunity. So you can go to scriptsummit.com and you guys can submit. You can join us this time next week, and we will be breaking down episode 3.
So 3.
It's going to be exciting, and Kristy will then hold my hand again through this entire experiences. I don't know.
You're doing good.
I'm
You're
in a
doing
foreign
you
land.
remember names. You're doing great.
Listen, I'm used to things in space with laser swords, so
Yes,
this is a
you
little
are a
out of
big-
my realm.
You are a big sci-fi space fantasy kind
A
of
little
guy.
bit, but
so.
I'm down with what we got going on. Channelers or force users. It's all I'm going out there.
Yeah,
Come at
there
me.
you go.